were George Floyd's last words. We all know the story. He was choked to death by the knee of a white police officer in Minneapolis a few weeks ago. And since then, around the world, protests have sprung up as people encountered those words and those pictures on social media and on the news. There's lots of things being written about it in Facebook, lots of things being written about it on social media and on the news. So I won't be going over all of the things again. I want to talk about something that I was inspired by reading Kate Coleman's article, Are You Mad? Are You Mad? She was indignant about George Floyd's killing and all the other killings that have gone on this side of the pond and in America as well. She was indignant about the church leaders staying silent. She was indignant as well and said, "Are you mad?" And she broke down the words mad to, "Are you making a difference?" Well, I thought over the years about how I'd made a difference in the cause of racial justice and racial harmony and unity. And for 7 years I was a pastor in Bristol, and for 5 of those years I was the chairperson of an organisation called Keyboard, Black and White Churches Together in Partnership. And we would do a lot of work in bringing the churches together through education, through listening, and through action. And we had a tremendous track record in that city. In Birmingham, I was involved in something called Black Boys Can. I didn't like the name at first, but it represented a project that were looking at young black lads who were at the bottom of all educational fields across the country. And we wanted to raise their aspirations. And we did that through teaching them to be assertive without being violent or rude, teaching them black history, teaching them about how to plan their future. And over 7 years of doing that, we saw the young men rise and become tremendous young men, older young men themselves. I think about the time when for 3 years I taught the grammar schools from the Wirral in Liverpool Cathedral. Over 500, 600 children over those 3 years who went to the best schools in the Wirral, living in the areas where all the footballers have their fancy homes. And for 3 years running, through a frank discussion of what it was like growing up as a black person in multicultural Britain, for 3 years those young children would say that seminar was the best seminar we went to on the day. And finally, I just want to say another area where I think I was around when a difference was made was when a team of us from the UK were delegates over in Atlanta, meeting at Martin Luther King Church under the auspices of BWA, Baptist World Alliance Racial Justice Conference. When the conference finished and we came back to Britain and reported on what we'd seen, heard and done, London appointed Rosemary as its first racial justice officer. David and Kumar were appointed the first black and Asian regional ministers in the country. And Wale Hudson Roberts was appointed as the racial justice coordinator for the Baptist Union of Great Britain. All of those people and so many more I could name have made their mark in making our union a much better place. But that was then. What about making a difference now? For ages, Adrian has been trying to get me to start up the Hebrew Justice Hub. It would be looking at racial justice, women's justice and disability justice. And for ages I've resisted because, quite frankly, tired of going over the same old ground and wondering if people are listening, people are understanding. But you know what? When them young people went up and said, we're the generation, I was reminded that at Atlanta, when the conference finished, we sang the words, we shall overcome someday. So, can you make a difference? Will you be making a difference? When I put out a call in a few weeks' time for people to join the Justice Hub, which we'll probably call Making a Difference Justice Hub, because it's going to be more than just a talking shop. It's going to be a place where we begin to put things into motion that will benefit us as an association and benefit our towns, villages and cities within the West Midlands. I wonder, when I make the call for people to come and contribute into the life of that, I wonder if you'll be prepared to make the difference. Stand up and be counted, like those young people who stood up in Birmingham the other day. My son was there on that peaceful protest, and I can't tell you the immense pride I felt in knowing that he wanted to stand up for something in his generation. I wonder if we want to stand for something in this generation. Let us make the difference. God bless you.